Okay, with the wick that I have on here right now, you can see this is really a little bit too much stove for a beer can. But if you didn't fuel it up too much, I think you could get by. But it's really a little bit too much for a beer can. I either got to put on a smaller wick, which I could do, or I got to go to a bigger pot. So let's try a different pot. Ouch. Damn, that's hot. Okay, that's better. That's Snow Peak 700, and that's quite a bit better. Of course, the flame's dying back a little bit, but all the way around, even with the Snow Peak, if I fuel this back up again, I've really got more heat than I got pot. So I could go with a smaller wick on this, and I think I'd still be fine for some fairly large pots. Now I can put another set of holes in this to widen it out right now, but it's not too bad right there for a Snow Peak 700. And these are the same legs that index in the beer can. But I definitely need to go with a smaller wick because I just got too much stove here for this pot, bottom line. And that's good because that'll give me more clearance on the legs. So, well, that's cool. So let's talk about this. Okay, well that's a pretty good first test. I can see that I have a little bit too much wick. It's pretty darn stable with the legs, but I could maybe widen out the stance a little bit for this pot, or come up, and then come out and give me a bigger area for the pot. But that's worth knowing. But this is fairly promising. Now, two things I want to talk about on this video. One is beer can pots. Now, the Dutch beer can, the Heineken beer can, is pretty much dead. They don't make it anymore, and this is one of them. It's all beat up. It's a very old one. It's just got duct tape on it. So those are gone by. Now, those were a really rugged pot. You didn't need to do too much to those in their original form, just the way they were. You didn't need to do anything. They'd make a pretty good pot. Other than having the thing in the bottom that kind of catches stuff now and then. That's not my point. My point is the pot I make, the only pot I make now, is a QMH. That's probably the most popular beer can pot ever made. Just about everybody that buys from me has got one. Ironically, they're no good for like cooking a meal. They're not big enough. They're basically just, people drink coffee out of them and drink cocoa out of them and make little bouillon things and soup, and it's very popular. It's one of Shug's favorite pots, and a lot of the hammock campers have them. It's just a really popular pot. Everybody likes it. Now, here's my problem with going with the bigger pots. It works fine, and if you've got a Heineken, you're all set. But when you go with the Foster's pots, the bigger ones, if you were unfortunate enough to carry one of those as your only pot and not carry a backup, you know, I might carry one, but I'd also carry a Snow Peak 700 or something. Which, really, ask yourself, why would you carry that if you had a Snow Peak 700? Good question, I don't know. But those pots are prone to fold up. Sure, if you're careful and take good care of them, you can do okay. But if it's your primary pot and it's that flimsy, and you're out in the wilderness 2 or 3 days from anything, and that pot folds up, if you've got a problem because you don't have a pot anymore. You can probably unfold it and make it work, but it ain't going to be pretty. And if you've ever watched any of these survival videos, like Dual Survivor, with Cody Lundeen and the crew, you'll notice right away one of the big things on surviving is having something you can boil water in. They're always struggling and looking for something on the beach or something that they can boil water in, because once you've got a vessel to boil water and heat water, you're in pretty good shape. But if you're out backpacking and you've got a backpack full of all kinds of high-tech gear, and you're unfortunate enough to have a beer can that folds up on you, or burns a hole in the bottom of it, or springs a leak, you know, because they're they're pretty flimsy, you're screwed. You got really big problems. So I really wouldn't recommend going out and having just a beer can for your primary pot. Just don't recommend it. Just not done in better families. And that's just my opinion. You can do it if you want to, but if you punch a hole in the bottom of it on one of these legs, or you pick it up full of water and it folds up on you, and the Fosters are prone to do that when you get, because the sides are absolutely straight, unlike this concave on the Fosters, which is an excellent design. Yeah, with the Fosters straight-sided, chances of folding up are about 50-50, and if you don't burn yourself, you're still not going to have a lot of pot to work with, and that's the key to the whole thing, having a good pot. I've got the little aluminum billy pot, and I find that it works better than the titanium pot simply because it's made out of aluminum, and it's thick enough so you won't punch a hole in it, and it's certainly not going to fold up. You know, that's my choice. You can do anything you want to, but beware of the small Foster's pots, 16 and 20 ounce. It's just, you're just asking for it. You really are. And you can, you know, ask around anybody that's used one, and they'll tell you it's okay, but I don't think I want to carry it as my only source of heating water. So I'll put a smaller wick on this, and we'll try this again on the next video. I'm surprised at that. I didn't think that wick was going to be big enough, but really, this is a hot little stove. Now here's some comedy. This is pretty much looking like a Voodoo, but it originally was going to be an M1. So I can either call it a V1, or I can take the M and put it on Voodoo and call it a Moodoo. Moodoo. That would be a good funny name, Moodoo. I'm Tinny from Mini Bull Design. Get out and hike, take a friend, enjoy the great outdoors. More important than anything, don't take life too serious. Stay out of trouble. Be nice. Leave no trace. And have a really great day. When I say leave no trace, when that beer can pot folds up on you, put it back in your pocket and lug it out. Don't throw it in the woods. Bye-bye.